Hi everyone, welcome to Essie Cooks. It is officially fall, so we know we're going to start going strong with all the squash and pumpkin recipes. So this is a butternut squash white bean dish. This is honestly so good, and it's actually healthy, and it feels gourmet because of the toppings. Absolutely love this one. I hope you love it too. Let's get started with that squash. Okay, so I started with one butternut squash, which I peeled and cut into nice little cubes like this. I got it on a baking tray with some parchment paper. And I'm going to drizzle with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, of course, salt and pepper. And roasting it is just going to bring out the nice sweet flavors of this squash. So I would definitely recommend roasting it for this recipe. We're going to roast that at 400 degrees until it's all cooked through, probably about 30-35 minutes. Got some sage that I dried here. So we're going to add some dried sage to this as well. That's going to add to the flavor. Since I didn't grind it up, I'm just going to crumble it up on here. But any dried sage will work. I'm just going to mix that all up together. All right, while that butternut squash is roasting, we can start by peeling and cutting 2 shallots. If you don't have shallots, no problem. You can use half a yellow onion. That's totally fine. I'm going to finely dice them. You could just thinly slice them if you want to make it easier. I just like to have them really finely diced up like that. And then I'm going to use about 4 cloves of garlic. Now, these were monstrous cloves of garlic from the market. So good. Same spot as I got the squash, but I'm going to actually have to cut them into pieces to fit them into the garlic press. I know I could dice them, but I really don't want to. I just like to put them through the garlic press because I just find it's easier for me. So yeah, I'm going to do that. So you can adjust the garlic to your taste if you want a little bit more, a little bit less. I do like a lot of garlic. I think it's delicious in here, but honestly, you don't need to put as much if you don't want to. And now we're going to go back and just start working on one of our toppings. We're going to try to kind of get everything ready and done while we're waiting. So our topping is going to be walnuts, walnuts are in season right now too. They just honestly go so well as a topping. And we're going to kind of toast them in a pan with some breadcrumbs. So I would say a 1/4 cup. I probably honestly have like over a 1/3 cup here because walnuts are so good for you. They have omegas, they're good for your brain, they're super healthy, fiber, everything. Honestly, this dish has so much fiber, vitamins, so many good things in it. So my squash is pretty much done. I'm going to take a look at it and see if it's actually done. I did flip it halfway. I'm going to take a quick check. There's a close-up so you can see the oil is sizzling really nice. And we're just going to make sure that it is, cooked to our liking. I like to do a fork test and see if it's cooked all the way through. You want it to the fork to easily slide in and out, and see how it just breaks in half like that. That's looking good. I actually did end up throwing them in for another 5. This was about 30 minutes. My oven, I don't know, sometimes it's not as strong, so I did end up throwing them in for another 5 for a little extra caramelization. Now we're going to want to make our sauce. So careful with your hands. The pan could be hot. I'm going to go ahead and grab the parchment paper just with all of that cooked roasted butternut squash deliciousness. Add it straight to a high-powered blender because I'm going to be blending it up for the sauce. Now I'm going to add in 1 cup of vegetable broth. You can add any broth you like in here. And then I'm also going to be adding in, for a little bit of creaminess, 1 cup of just plain unsweetened soy milk. You can use any milk you like in here, just make sure it is plain and unsweetened. I like soy, it doesn't have a lot of flavor, it has a little extra protein. Blend that all up together until you get this delicious, delicious sauce. I'm telling you, this right here, because the squash is so good, this could be a soup, it could be a pasta sauce, whatever. Now, 2 cans of white beans, rinsed and drained. I've got 19-ounce cans. I gave a little bean to my girly there. And sorry, I didn't show that for some reason, but you could use butter beans or white beans for this. Now, for the crispy sage leaves, we need The smallest pot or pan you have, preheat some oil. Be careful, just on medium heat, 1 to 2 tablespoons. I like to have a really small pot or pan for this because in that case, we're going to be able to actually submerge the sage leaves in here to make them nice and crispy. About 10 seconds per side. You can see it's starting to wrinkle up on the edges and it's slightly golden brown. I'm kind of tapping it off here. Do not do that. That's dangerous with oil. Just pick it up and place it on a paper towel to absorb any of the excess oil. We're basically kind of shallow frying these sage leaves. Now I put a bunch in a pan at once, but if you're going to do this, be really careful because it can overcrowd them. They might not cook as nicely. Doing 2 or 3 at a time, you're going to have more control. You can be more careful. But look, they came out perfectly. And you can add just a little sprinkle of salt on top if you like. This is the ultimate fall topping. It makes it feel so gourmet. It's so easy to make. You can use olive oil to fry them. You can use sunflower oil, whatever you like there. Now in that same pan, I saved some of that same oil because now it's sage infused. I had my chopped walnuts from earlier and about half a cup of breadcrumbs. Panko breadcrumbs are better. I didn't have them. You want to stir really quickly here until they're just lightly golden and toasted. They can burn really fast, so be really careful. And that is our delicious, delicious topping. Now in a nonstick pan or cast iron, whatever, medium heat, 1 tablespoon of olive oil. We're going to add in those diced shallots or onions, and then we're going to cook them for about 3 minutes, stirring constantly, and add in our garlic for about 30 seconds. Then we can go ahead and add in that butternut squash sauce. Give it a good stir. Add in your 2 19-ounce cans of white beans or butter beans. You want to let them simmer in the sauce for about 5 to 6 minutes to heat up. Now a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, salt and pepper to taste. If you don't have nut, you can just use some grated Parmesan cheese, no problem there. But the nutritional yeast obviously adds some more vitamins, minerals, and flavor to it. Now we're going to just lightly sprinkle on top that walnut breadcrumb topping and place on those perfectly crispy sage leaves. I actually like to do this on each bowl. I just did it this way for presentation for the video and for the photos. But what I like to do is actually put it in the bowl and then sprinkle on top a little bit of that walnut topping. Serve this up with a crusty sourdough bread. It was so fresh, I didn't even toast it or butter it just because it was that good. I hope you love this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe.